All right, so let me introduce our second presenter, Dr. Muhammad Saldar. And it's really such a pleasure to have such a presenter from a different context. So Dr. Muhammad Saldar comes from Pakistan, which is really a very interesting context to explorations or about Egypt. So it's really interesting to know more about a different area. So Dr. Muhammad Saldar is an ALT expert with 26 years of IELTS and TOEFL teaching and training experience. He's a global keynote speaker, plenary speaker, and resource person. Currently, he is teaching in the Islamic University of Bahlapur, Pakistan. And he is going to give a session on issues and the challenges faced by Pakistani ESL teachers and learners during pandemic. So the floor is yours, Dr. Muhammad.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving a very nice introduction about me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Assalamu alaikum, and very good evening to everyone. This is Dr. Muhammad Saldar from the Islamic University of Bahawalpur, Pakistan. And the topic of my talk is issues and challenges faced by Pakistani ESL teachers and learners during pandemic. So, respected audience, is my screen visible to you all?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Respected audience, COVID-19 pandemic took all nations on the planet by surprise and continued a quest for efficient and effective mechanisms to contain the spread of this highly contagious virus. Unfortunately, there is no timeline for the end of this pandemic. Nobody knows when we can return back to normalcy or what this normalcy will look like. This means that we have a lot of work ahead to us. With the threat of spread of virus, academic institutes are confronted with the looming specter of digital infrastructure, bandwidth, and licensed software application initiated inculcation and training of faculty and staff in the realm of online modalities in the entire spectrum of undergraduate to doctorate level through an enabling environment. The sudden immersion into online academics and unreliable attendance pattern and dissimilar video online applications need to be worked upon and developed in harmony to dispel any paradox. The online situation into which the academics, both teachers and students, have been thrust in unforeseen, with students perceiving that readiness was lacking among staff and institutions. So the teachers throughout the world can play a key role in the battle against this COVID-19 virus. Respected audience, the linguistic landscape of Pakistan is rich and diverse. There are 69 living languages spoken across the country. Besides the linguistic diversification, English is perceived as a passport to better employment and upward social mobility in Pakistan. It is not only the language of various government organizations, but also used for administrative and bureaucratic procedures in high courts, the defense ministries, mass media, and education departments of the country. In a society characterized by acute class division and intense class consciousness, parents from the lower, middle, or working strata of society aspire to enroll their children in the English medium schools. Teaching is not only a skill, but also an ever-changing art. It needs a lot of training and practice, while culture is regarded as an external relation of the language. No doubt, language is used to maintain and convey culture and the cultural ties. Language is a vital part of human connection. People who speak more than one language have improved memory, problem solving, and critical thinking skills, enhanced concentration, ability to multitask, and better listening skills. English language plays an essential role in our lives as it helps in communication. It is the main language for studying any subject all over the world. English is important for students as it broadens their minds, develops emotional skills, improves the quality of life by providing job opportunities. Currently, English has dominated the context of foreign language learning and teaching in Pakistan. Its acquisition can guarantee the availability of opportunities to employment, traveling, higher education, and even better life. Over the last decade, technology has become an inseparable part of teaching and learning environment. COVID-19 proved a pandemic that has affected the whole world on a large scale. Every walk of life got disturbed by this pandemic. Educational institutions, not only in Pakistan, but also loss of study for the students of all grades, notably higher education, which directly affected education, learners, the teachers, in terms of learning and time economically. Virtual teaching or online teaching is proving as an emerging method of teaching in the field of education all over the world. Developed countries have opted for this method of teaching much before. In Pakistan, universities under the directions of Higher Education Commission started virtual teaching or online teaching for the students, which was an attempt to cover the loss on an experimental basis. A transition from conventional teaching to online delivery of programs and courses is underway, with conventional education system being a skill development tool capable of raising skills and social awareness. Institutions stopped in-person teaching and are opting for virtual settings to promote learning. In Pakistan, Higher Education Commission is committed to make e-learning a success in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. With only some previous efforts made by the Open University, or while some universities already commenced online classes and stragglers take the refuge of summer break to prepare for transition to online academics. The term global village has now become equal with the term global pandemic, recognizing no geographical border, affecting the affluent Western countries more in terms of mortality. The underlying sentiment is that COVID-19 may persist until the virus runs its life cycle in the backdrop of any scientific curative breakthrough. In some regions, including Pakistan, though online learning has been recommended, the closure of educational institutes due to COVID-19 emergency has occurred at a critical time for evaluations and critical academic events cancelled. According to Burgess, internal assessments in institutions are being given less importance during this COVID-19 emergency, resulting in cancellations. Here it should also followed by being given predicted grades influence the labor market for students. Online assessments being opted by many universities in place of conventional examinations may be faced with ethical considerations accompanied by assessment errors. In a study by Al-Roves, reported that in addition to benefits of online assessment, it also faces barriers like developing countries, unfamiliarity of students with the hardware, software, as well as assessment process, scoring issues, as well as difficulties in assessment of projects given to the groups. In Pakistan, students and faculty remain confined to homes, yet maximum time can be productively made across educational disciplines, including research. Private sector universities have oriented towards digital academics, yet the federal education authorities seem to have abdicated from their moral authority by citing constitutional provision under the cover of 18th Amendment of the Constitution of Pakistan. An underlying reason for this neglect is that The teachers' job in the federation and provinces are protected as being paid from the taxpayers' money. These are the days of COVID-19, and almost the countries of the world are changing their styles of etc. The central theme of all these styles changing is social distancing, which is currently the only precautionary cure of this pandemic. The norms of education are also changing according to the slogan of social distancing. In other words, the learning has changed its mode from face-to-face to virtual or online. English language learning is a little bit different from the other traditional type of teaching. It also goes on virtual as other ways of education. The problems arise whether the online or virtual learning of the English language will be useful or not. Now, I would like to move towards the literature review of my work, as language is one of the most useful tools we have as humans. Without it, we could not think of expressing our thoughts to others, nor could we engage in the activities that commonly take place in the society we build ourselves. The status of English across the world has made it the most important language. The sole purpose of language is to communicate. Students of today are the future of our country. So in order to have better tomorrow, our students should get proper treatment today. For this purpose, Government of Punjab has developed textbooks and teacher guide through Punjab Text Board, which are followed by the School Education Department. The basic English proficiency of the students in the rural areas of Punjab is not up to the mark. It is observed that most of the students are unable to attain the required English language competencies. Now I am going to give you some advantages of the online teaching. Cost saving in terms of time, money and travel, free from any time and location restrictions. The class can be taken at any time and in any place. Mostly the lectures comprise pre-recorded videos that can be stopped, reversed, forwarded, downloaded, and watched as many times as someone needs. Now I am going to give you some disadvantages. Improper assessment of the students and poor monitoring, lack of teacher-student and student-to-student interaction, and social activities cannot be performed. The pandemic has made online learning a need rather than an option to be availed. The world has been quarantined. People have been limited to their homes. The pedagogical practices have gone from offline to online. Owing to such a critical situation, even the institutions that were reluctant to change have out. The institutions all over the world have digitalized their operations. Online learning in Pakistani universities has also increased immensely after the outbreak. The institutions had to find a solution to carry on the learning and teaching process for the students who were bound to their homes and could not go out to attend their classes physically. So in Pakistan, most of the institutions started conducting classes through Google Meet and Zoom-like apps. There are also certain processes, learning and teaching. First, the technologies of online learning and teaching are the major problem in this case. Both the learners and the teachers are not used to these technologies. Secondly, engaging students in the given task is also one of the major problems in terms of online learning and teaching. Thirdly, because being away at a place that is at a long distance from the students, a teacher is not able to give personal attention to him. Finally, there are numerous issues like lack of proper assessment, lack of practice material, as most of the classes are theoretical when it comes to the online. And these are also some problems which we are facing in the Pakistan, the language problem and impact of social skills and support of the staff, online security issues, mental health, accessibility, awareness, and students' assessment and examination. That is also very difficult for the teachers to cope with that. These are some pitfalls of the students, teachers, and the materials. The teachers are concerned with the teaching methods and the evaluation. These are the problems for them, while with the material, the curriculum, and the policy. Now, I would like to move towards the objectives of my study to find students' interest in online teaching at the university level and to examine the efficiency of online teaching and its impact on the students' attitudes. The research questions of my talk were, why is the standard of English language teaching and learning low due to pandemic? And how does virtual teaching affect students' attitudes? If we talk about the significance of the study, it will analyze the current situation and suggest the ways to improve the standard of English language teaching in Pakistan. And it will also help the teachers and course designers to understand the current situation and make the changes accordingly. The results of this study will provide guidelines to improve English language teaching and learning at university level in Punjab, Pakistan. 100 students and 20 teachers from the Islamic University of Bahawalpur participated in this study. And if we talk about the research methodology, that was experimental in nature, and the approach was quantitative, and stratified random sampling was done. Questionnaire as a tool to collect the data from the respondents. And that is the results of pre-test and the post-test. And that is the, these are some factors which I have got from the questionnaire, which I delivered to the student, to the teachers. And that is their graphic description. Respected audience, there was lack of interaction in the classes and no access to fast internet connection. All these challenges really hindered the smooth flow of teaching and learning process. Therefore, learning can be made effective and improvements can be brought by working on the above issues. Lockdown of centers of learning globally has caused significant distortion in the academic world, but unequal interruption in learning with significant disruptions in internal assessments and qualification examinations with developing countries like Pakistan, compounded by a compromised educational system as evidenced by liking and preference for even dubious foreign degrees. So it should be borne in mind that COVID-19 is spurring the case for conversion to online academics, and developing countries like Pakistan are poised to develop reliable, cost-effective, and secure online academic systems. Now, I would like to give some suggestions. Virtual teaching should be used objectively on a priority basis. Universities, colleges, and schools should be provided with the internet and the proper latest technology, and the teachers and students should be provided with necessary training regarding virtual training for active learning, and government should provide funds for its implementation in all over Pakistan, and seminars should be conducted for its promotion and awareness among the teachers and the students. And my dear, these were some references from which I got the help. And thanks for your patience, please. And any question?
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad. And please, if you have any questions, type them in the chat box. Maybe until anyone types a question, I would say even in Egypt, we had the same problems with internet connections and disrupting the whole educational harmony, having it in face-to-face, and I guess the internet is a global issue. So yes, that's why maybe some of the solutions that we might have over the next years by having 5G or very high-tech communication technology, maybe that's going to fix the problem of internet
Yes, sir.
issues.
It can be solved if we are having 5Gs or the 4Gs. Otherwise, if I talk about Pakistan, that is a developing country, we are not having such facilities, especially in the universities. The students, and especially the students who are belonging to some far-flung areas, they are not having the connectivity. They were having some other problems. So we have to tackle all these, and we have to pray to Almighty Allah that this pandemic must be removed from our society.
True. Totally agree. I guess we have a question here from Gulshan. So what do you think could be the best solution for having a better assessment option for online teaching and learning?
Peer assessment is the best assessment, because in this way the students are just going to check the work of each other, and they can improve their, I think, knowledge as well. Peer assessment is the best way for them.
Okay. And maybe just something I tried in my own context that can be an assessment option for online teaching. So I guess nowadays you have many websites or many platforms where you can add your questions, and they seem to be like in a question bank, and your students can answer those questions either if they are online, which is synchronously, or asynchronously, which means at their own pace. And maybe an easy form to do that is through Google Forms. So if you are familiar with Google products like Google Drive, Google, which is the Gmail, one of the applications is Google Form. So I guess you can use a Google Form to add some questions to your students, and they can respond to them later.
Yes, sir. This is a good way.
So do we have any more questions from anyone? All right. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for the time you have given to attend the session. Many thanks for our presenters, Ms. Iman Dafrawi and Dr. Muhammad Saldar. And again, it was interesting to get to know about two different contexts about our Egyptian situation here and what you have done or conducted in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And maybe just before we leave to our participants, let me share with you like a feedback link, because we as a TSIG team, we always try to work on more on the sessions and make them more interesting, and we would like to hear your recommendations and suggestions. So you will find here in the chat box a link to a Google form. So please don't forget to fill in the form right now. And again, even if you have any suggestions or recommendations, please type them in the chat box so we can tackle those in our next sessions, inshallah. Well, so thank you, everyone. And maybe I'm just going to be online here for a couple of minutes until everyone fills in the Google form. And please stay tuned. Please join our Facebook group. We're going to have another event maybe in next month or a couple of months just after Ramadan and Eid, to make it much more convenient for people to attend. So please stay tuned and see you very soon, inshallah.
Thank you very much, sir. So nice of you, and I'm very happy to meet you all.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.